He called black women gold diggers. He told his own children, that he should be the last option that they are able to call whenever they need help. He didn't even want to pay for his own, I believe it was his daughter's wedding. He was a willing participant. He was a willing participant in every single thing that he did, and I don't feel sorry for him. The universe sent him signs. Cat Williams tried to warn him. He said it takes 2 weekends. Monique tried to warn him that him now, at the age of 57, shouldn't be messing with a girl that is, 36 years younger than him? And he didn't listen. And he kept it going. And now he has lost his entire...
I always talk about date your age. Well, I want to date my wage. I'm finna shut all this ish down tonight. I want to date my wage.
Stay right there.
Where y'all at? Hey, chat, where they at?
Hold on. Cause I keep it on me now.
Yeah.
I keep it on me. You want to date your what?
I want to date my wage. Not my age. I want to date my wage. So where are they? Cause y'all always talking about date your age. I want to date my wage. So come on with it.
Well, you talking?
As a matter of fact, I'm taking applicants as we speak.
Well, you talking spicy tonight, boy.
He said it like a flex. He didn't want to date his age. He wanted to date his wage. Shannon Sharpe turned that line into a clip that ran wild across timelines. Quick, cocky, and tailored for the algorithm. It was a clean brand beat. Money, access, charisma. But the internet has a long memory, and soundbites don't stay in their moment. Once the headline shifted from playful to messy, that line turned into a boomerang. People stitched it next to allegations, pasted it under new claims, and treated it like the thesis statement of everything that followed. That's the reality of modern fame. The one-liners that light up a studio become exhibits in the court of public opinion. And when that court gets a new case, it starts with the loudest tape. Here, the tape was simple. Date my wage. The subtext wrote itself. But before the accusations took over the narrative, the warnings did. There wasn't code to crack. Monique looked Shannon Sharpe in the eye and said what most people avoid saying on air. Stop chasing younger, start choosing wiser.
Friend, baby, I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
What you trying to say?
I'm looking right at you.
I know you looking at me.
I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, no.
Your wings. Who gonna rub his feet at the nighttime, okay? And gonna have a sip of his cognac to make him feel better about himself when he come home at night. That's what Shannon need. You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl.
I do.
This is your auntie talking to you. Take your old ass and get you an old bitch out there that can love you old.
She didn't sweeten it. She didn't talk around it. She spoke like a relative who cares more about your future than your feelings. People clipped that moment because it felt like accountability in real time. Cat Williams, always surgical with a joke, added the razor edge. It takes 2 weekends, he said, his version of a countdown clock for grown men who confuse attention with control. When Cat drops a warning, it lingers. The cadence, the delivery, the sting, it sticks to the story even if you try to outrun it. It wasn't random internet chatter, it was familiar voices saying the same thing. In a world built on clips, you don't need a thesis to build a narrative. You need moments, and the moments were loud. Then the paperwork arrived, and the discourse leveled up from opinions to allegations. The relationship was 2023. The gap was obvious. The power dynamic raised eyebrows. But the bomb was the April filing from Gabriella, seeking $50 million. Inside the claim, the language was sharp. Controlling behavior, a switch from charm to pressure, moments where no didn't move the needle. It listed details, who said what, who did what, and where boundaries got crossed. These are claims, not verdicts, but claims in a court document have a different weight than anonymous posts. The internet didn't wait for a judge. It rarely does. Clips surfaced. Snippets people said were phone calls with Shannon. There were ugly quotes in the mix, statements people didn't want to believe but couldn't stop replaying.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me, so I feel like...
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Again, contested, alleged, not proven. But virality doesn't require proof. It requires friction. And this had friction built in. One detail that pushed people over the edge: Gabriella said private videos she sent were shared with friends against her wishes. She also said he micromanaged her weight. Those specifics gave the story texture. They shifted it from relationship drama to disturbing pattern, at least in the eyes of the crowd watching it unfold. Shannon responded quickly, and he didn't whisper.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown.
Shannon Sharpe labeled the case a shakedown. He aimed directly at Tony Busby, naming the attorney and accusing him of targeting high-profile black men. He said short, out-of-context clips might surface to paint him into a stereotype. That statement was a line in the sand. It tried to reframe the case as a coordinated hit instead of a straight-up dispute. ESPN cut ties after settlement buzz hit the feed. Shannon said he asked for the timing to shift. He didn't want to overshadow his brother's Pro Football Hall of Fame moment. That alone added another emotional layer. But corporations run on clean optics and predictable headlines. When chaos becomes the headline, the business math gets easy, even if the human side isn't. This is the part viewers underestimate. Networks don't adjudicate truth, they manage risk. If the public perception is spiraling and sponsors start asking questions, executives cut losses. It's not personal, it's portfolio management. And a broadcaster who becomes a lightning rod tends to find out the hard way that the leash is short. The mic went quiet on TV, but Shannon still had another mic no network controls, his own show. Except a fresh legal headline was headed his way. People dragged receipts like they were trophies. The gold digger monologues came back. The last call advice he reportedly gave to his own children resurfaced post after post. The wedding budget story turned into a chorus line for critics who wanted to paint him as generous with strangers and stingy at home. And of course, Date My Wage kept looping next to Gabriella's retirement message until it became a punchline with its own life cycle. Monique's on-air counsel got reposted as a told you moment. Cat Williams' 2 weekends line was cut into a warning montage. They all stayed part of the stitched narrative, like anchors holding this story in place. ESPN became the corporate X, Tony Busby the combative attorney, Gabriella the symbol of what people call internet justice, fair or not. That's where reputation really suffers. When your enemies don't have to invent anything, just repost. Calling it a shakedown was a clear swing. Naming Tony Busby was meant to give shape to that swing. Turn the story into a known pattern, not a personal failing. Pledging transparency tried to undercut the shock of any leaks. If you expect the tape hit softer. But the sticking points weren't the lawyer or the label. They were the earlier statements about women, about dating, about his own family, and how seamlessly the allegations slotted into that tone. Even if the facts were on his side, in places the public couldn't see, the vibe wasn't. And in media fights, vibe beats paperwork until paperwork becomes a verdict. Another complication? Once a huge number circulates, every subsequent denial sounds like spin. The bigger the rumor, the harder it is to outtalk it. That's not logic, it's physics. Meanwhile, the business consequences moved on their own timeline. Sponsorships don't need certainty to evaporate. They need discomfort. Once brand managers start asking, "Do we want our logo on this?" the calendar gets quiet. Even if deals don't fully disappear, they shift to review mode. And review mode is where momentum goes to die. That's why commentators emphasize consistency. Scandals aren't just moral storms, they're operational storms. A single caller who can move the needle with controversy is expensive to hold because every episode becomes a question mark. Even podcast partners track that math. CPMs don't like chaos. So the pivot becomes keep the output clean, keep the guest list strong, keep the conversation about sports, the one arena where audiences still see him as an authority. But court calendars don't care about content calendars. There's a reason so many high-profile cases never reach a verdict. Discovery is a minefield. Trials are unpredictable, and juries don't live on the internet. They bring their own priors. For someone like Shannon Sharpe, who lives on reputation and reach, the cost of discovery alone can be reputationally lethal. Even if the material is benign, fragments can be framed into a story. That's why massive numbers, not necessarily $23 million, but big, sound plausible to the public. They imagine peace as a fee. Attorneys on both sides know this, and leverage becomes math, not morality. The side that can withstand more heat and more time gets better offers. The side that needs quiet faster gives more. So while people argue online about who won, the real winners are often the schedules that go back to normal. And online, normal is whatever the next clip says it is. Date my wage. People heard it once and can recall it forever. That's the clip economy in one sentence. We don't remember the context, the nuance, or the passive voice in a 5-paragraph rebuttal. We remember the punchline. So when the claims hit, the internet didn't need a chain of custody to feel satisfied. It had a punchline it could paste on top. Monique's counsel, Cat Williams' countdown, Gabriella's retirement message, ESPN's exit, it all reduced into a deck of cards anybody could shuffle to make their own point. Broadcasters used to hold the deck. Now the audience does. So if Shannon wants a true Act 3, he needs a counter clip. Something that reframes, not repeats. No life lessons here, just mechanics. A rebuild would need 3 things: controlled platforms, disciplined topics, and consistent delivery. That means fewer personal tangents, more pure sports analysis, fewer lines that sound like memes, more lines that sound like insight, fewer reaction clips dominating the feed, more highlight clips of great interviews and sharp breakdowns. Guests matter. Booking respected voices, coaches, players, GMs, signals value again. Wins matter. Calling a game trend before it breaks, interviewing the right person the week a story pops, threading a player insight that mainstream missed, those earn breathing room. Time matters most. Daily consistency beats a single grand gesture. The lawsuits will still run in the background. The comments won't stop, but a steady, "this is why you watch me" cadence can slowly push controversy off the front page of his brand. Until then, the most viral version of this saga writes itself. The internet framed Shannon Sharpe as the man who mocked gold diggers, told his own kids to keep him last on the call sheet, and then allegedly paid a woman he dated more than he ever wanted to pay his family. It turned a playful dating bar into a tax, multiplied it by headlines, and called the total karma. Whether you see truth there or just timing, that cut is sticky. For Gabriella, the story is a victory lap message and a promise of projects. For Tony Busby, it's another high-profile fight with cameras nearby. For ESPN, it's a risk avoided. For Monique and Cat Williams, it's the repost that proves they said what needed to be said. And for Shannon, it's a reminder that the second act he built can still be a stage, if he can survive the heckling. None of this is over. Allegations have timelines. Contracts have clauses. Podcasts have episodes. The next movement might be a filing, a settlement, an interview, or a Cloyd that finally lands softer than the rest. But right now, the quote that keeps trending is the one he can't outrun. He wanted to date his wage. The internet says he ended up paying it. And as long as that line keeps getting stitched to every new headline, the story stays exactly where it is. Unresolved in court, decided online, and waiting for the next twist to see if the verdict changes.